How's it going? Dave and Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are heating up. What do I mean by heating them up? I mean they're going up in price. Might not be their all-time highs, but there's a trend. Whether it's a good trend they'll continue on, whether it's just for now and it's going to continue to drop, who's to say? We're going to jump right in all that information. Also, we have one on this list that's shouldn't really be on this list, but I found it very interesting, and that'll be at the end. But yeah, it's very, very interesting how I saw this. It doesn't really fit the mold of what's going on in the comic industry, and it's a pretty big key as well. All right, so let's get down to business. First up is we got Marvel Collectible Classics number 1. We got a 9.4 up 39% from $649 average back in March to now averaging $900. A 9.6 went from $1,000 to $998. Not really much movement there. But a 9.8 up 29% from $1463. One selling for $1880. This book, it's really easy to find in high grade because it had a really thick kind of cover. Because if you guys don't know, it has like a normal cover, but then it has like this plastic coating over it. It's hard to explain, but it's harder to get damaged. So there's a lot of high grade. But again, these aren't that common to begin with either. So they did a couple different ones, but this one's, obviously Spider-Man 300. They also did, I believe, Spider-Man 1 as well. They did a couple different issues of different titles, things like that. I'm just kind of surprised as like issue 300 is kind of going down. This one's kind of going up. Maybe people are realizing that this is pretty rare. All right, next up, we got Vampirella number 1. A 6.5 is up 9% from 1850 to 2025. An 8.5 is up from 2008-64 to 3000. And a 9.4 is up 17% from 7,200 to a record price of 8,400. Yeah, so this one hit a record price last month-ish, towards the end of June. That's a record price for a 9.4. Books like this, people realize they're really rare, especially in that high grade. So those are the kind of things that will probably always go up in price. Something that is more volatile are ones that they're very common. Like you can even take a New Mutants, 98 and a 9.8. Like you might think it's rare or whatever, but they're really, really common. A lot of these books are really, really common. And what ends up happening is that's why more rare books, higher desire books, higher grade books, those end up not really getting affected as much by, the price. For example, a Hulk 181 hit a record price of over $100,000. But then you could look at a Hulk 181 and like a 7.0, and that's kind of trending downward. Why is the 9.8 trending upward, but the 7.0, 5.0, whatever is trending downward? All the others are trending downwards. That's because the 9.8 is extremely rare compared to all the other ones. And you can have people that have like a whole bunch of them, and then they could like flood the market. You're not flooding the market with 9.8s. There's not that many. But you could flood the market with any other grade range, and it could skew. All right. Next, we got Captain America 117, first appearance of Falcon. A 5.0 is up 10% from 340 to 375. An 8.0 up only 1% from 791 to 800. And then an 8.5 is up 38% from 1,000 to 1,379. Why is this book going up? Well, I think they pretty much announced Captain America 4, the movie. So this book should start getting a little bit, rising up a little bit. It dropped a lot, though, like quite a bit. If you look at the graph, it pretty much is, going along, this shoots straight up and comes down. Then it's kind of evened out, and now it's starting to go up again. I suspect that it'll go up a little more. Will it hit the highs that it did before? Probably not. All right, next we got X-Men 104, the first appearance of Starjammers as a cameo. A 9.4 only up 1% from 373 to 375. A 9.6 up 9% from 731 to 800. And then a 9.8, yes, this is correct, is up 131% from $1,300 to $3,001. That is insane. Is there a reason why this went way up? No, there's no real reason. There's some speculation that since Marvel, the MCU is going into space, like we might see Starjammers at some point. That's all rumors. Nothing really concrete. But it's just, I've said this millions and millions of times, you got to look for the good deals, and sometimes people list things that should like way too cheap. So what am I going to talk about? If you look at this next one, you'll see that this is a 9.8 that sold a month or so ago, and they had it up as a buy it now for $1,400. And someone even made a best offer and ended up getting it for less than that. They ended up getting it for $1,300. So that's insane. And then here's one, the next one. This one ended, almost a month ago, and a 9.8 as well. Went in an auction on eBay, same platform, 57 bids, and it sold for $3,001. So there are deals out there. I can't believe that person not only listed it, because if you look at the other ones, you're looking around 2,500. So the one that sold for $3,000 still would have been a pretty high price, because most of the time it's around $2,600 for a 9.8. But the person that listed it for $1,401 and then took a best offer of $1,300, that person got a steal of a deal, literally. If I saw something like that, I would just buy it instantly. I wouldn't even try to make an offer, because in my mind, if I made an offer, the seller might not get back to me for a couple hours, maybe a couple days, and then someone would come by and sweep it up. But that person, man, they had some big balls to put I'll offer you lower, $1,300, which was still massively underpriced, and they seemed to get it as well. That's crazy to me. All right, next we got, this one shouldn't really be on this list, but I kind of want to explain. I found it very interesting. I'll explain why. So let's look at it. Star Wars #1. A 9.4 from $660, now $675. That's up 2%. A 9.6 from $1,300, now down to $1,275. That's only down 2%. And a 9.8 from $5,155 to now selling for $5,114, only down like 1%. But the key is, look at that graph up there. If you see there, it's got a huge boom from the comic boom. Okay, we've seen that a million times before. But look at it. It's been pretty much steady the whole time. That huge spike up there was one sold on Heritage for $9,200 or $9,600. You can see right here. Yes, that is a real sale. A 9.8. This is not the 35-cent variant or anything like that. On Heritage, in auction, sold for $9,600. Now you might be thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe it's an error or something like that. But there's two people that bid. You can't get to a certain price. You can't get to $9,000 unless you have two people bidding it up. If your next bid is $5,000 and the next person bids $1 million, they'll only go to like 5,001 or whatever the bid increments are on Heritage. I think at that point it's like $100 or $250. But in any case, there's two people willing to pay roughly around $9,600 for that. And what I found interesting is most comics, especially these Bronze Age keys that are pretty easily available. This is not like a rare book by any means. During the comic boom, we saw a massive spike. But then right after, we saw, boom, crash. Like it would stabilize, it would spike, and then it just started crashing. Some dropping by 70, 60, 80% on some of these, but not Star Wars #1. Star Wars #1 got that bump and just kind of stayed steady, even breaking a massive record of $9,600. Now people will say, oh, is it a newsstand? That doesn't matter at that point. In 1977, they were all newsstands. So there was no direct at that point. Or if there was, they were very, very small, but it meant nothing. So yeah, that's just crazy to me that this book has held its value from the comic boom. And again, let's look at that graph, and you will see that before the comic boom, it's just going along, slight increase, and then massive spike up like everything else. I don't know what that was, probably like 4xing your money, and then it didn't drop like all the other ones. Man, that is a crazy book, I must say. And Star Wars is a huge, huge franchise. I understand. But to see something like that and just to hold its value while everything else is going down. Like everything else got that comic boom bump, but this one held strong. That'll be it. Have a great weekend.